but I want to deal with the timeline of how long we was in the land of Canaan. All right, when we was in the land of our father YAHWAH. Okay, so before we deal with verse 14, let's go over to Genesis, the 25th chapter. This is all irrelevant, you all. And when you hear this prophecy quoted, you're going to do what Sarai and Abram did when the Most High came to him. You're going to chuckle. Because you're going to hear this prophecy misquoted all over the place. The children of Israel have been in America 400 years. It's time to go. You know, in 2007, from 1607, it's been 400 years. The ships to Jamestown, you're going to hear that prophecy. Then you're going to hear some say that it was in Egypt. It was fulfilled in Egypt. The conclusion of this prophecy was Canaan land and Egypt. That's the 400-year prophecy of this particular prophecy. Genesis 25, you are in verse 26.
And after that came his brother out, and his hand took hold on Esau's heel, and his name was called Jacob, Yaakov. And Isaac was 80 years old when she bare them.
Now, how old was Isaac, you all, in English terms? So Isaac was 60 years old. So, without even going there, how old was Abraham when he had Isaac?
100.
He was 100. So how old is Abraham right now?
100.
Abram is 160. Isaac is 60. Now how old is Jacob, where the children of Israel came from?
Just born.
He's just born. So he's a newborn. And so Isaac is 60 years old. So Isaac been in Canaan land for how long?
60 years.
60 years thus far. All right. Okay, let's continue on. Let's go to Genesis, the 47th chapter. So we got 60 years from when the prophecy began, because the prophecy began with Abraham's seed, right? Abraham's seed started with who? Isaac. So the prophecy, we got 60 years so far, right?
60 years.
We got 60 years. Genesis 47.
47.
Let's pick it up at verse 1, and we're going to skip.
Then Joseph came and told Pharaoh and said, my father and my brothers and their flocks and their herds and all that they have are come out of the land of Canaan. And behold, they are in the land of Goshen.
So they came out of Goshen into the land of Canaan. All right. Now, this is Joseph. This is during the time of the famine, you all, when the children of Israel had to come out of Canaan land. And no, I mixed two stories. Let's just continue on. Let's go down to verse 9.
Okay. And Jacob said to Pharaoh, the days of the years of my pilgrimage are 130 years.
So the days of Joseph, I'm getting the name, Jacob. So Jacob is talking to Pharaoh, right? And Jacob is Israel, right?
Dang.
Okay, now I'm back on track. And Jacob said to Pharaoh, the days of the years of my pilgrimage are how long?
130.
130.
So at this particular time, Jacob is, how old is he?
130 years.
So he's 130 years old. So from the time Isaac was 60, we got 130 years, don't we?
Dang.
And this is when Joseph introduced Jacob to Pharaoh, because the children of Israel came out of the Canaan land, right?
Right.
And they went into Egypt because the father sent a famine, didn't he?
Right.
Into Canaan land.
Right.
And he sent the famine into Canaan land for 7 years. We don't have time to go there, but after the class, anybody don't understand it, I can break it down to you.
Right.
Say it again. Okay. You don't know the full story. Okay, for time's sake, I'm kind of skipping around. Now, the children of Israel was in Canaan land. Remember, Isaac was born in Canaan land, right?
Right.
Isaac had Jacob, right?
Right.
Jacob had 12 sons, didn't he?
Dang.
The 12 sons had children, and the 12 sons sold their brother Joseph to the Egyptians, right?
Right.
So Joseph went to Pharaoh's house. The father sent a famine in the Canaan land. So when the father sent the famine into Canaan land, Joseph was already in Egypt, where there was the land of plenty.
Right.
He went to Canaan land to get the other 11 brothers and his father and the rest of the family and bring them out of the famine into Egypt.
Right.
So at the time that he went and got him, and he introduced Jacob to Pharaoh, because Joseph was in Pharaoh's leadership or in his government. He was the second man in charge, but he was one of Jacob's sons. He was one of the 12 tribes of Israel. So at the time that Joseph, these J's is screwing me up. At the time that Joseph introduced Jacob, his father, to Pharaoh, he was how old?
130 years old.
So he was 130. So we got 60 years, right? And then he was born when Isaac was 60, right? So from 60 to 130 is when he left Canaan land and he came into Egypt, right?
Right.
This is at the particular time he's introducing them to Pharaoh. Is everybody following?
190 years.
So we got 190 years in the land of Canaan. Abraham's seed was.
Okay.
Does everybody understand that?
Thus far.
Abraham's seed was in Canaan land for 100 and how many?
30 years before they went to Egypt.
No.
190 years.
190 years.
Sleek up.
So how many years was the prophecy?
400 years.
400. 400 minus 190 is how many? So we got 210 left. I submit to you, the children of Israel was in Egypt captivity for 210 years.
Hallelujah.
That's how long they was there. That completes the prophecy. Now I said it, now I got to prove it. All right? Is everybody clear on the time that the seed of Abraham was in Canaan land for 130 years? Because Isaac was born there, and so was his twin sons, which was
190 years.
right. So Isaac was born there, and his sons was born there, and they all grew up there. And in 190 years, they came out and went into Egypt, right?
Okay.
And it says on the same day of 400 years, they came out of Egypt, and he said they was going to come back where?
Come back
In the
to
land
Canaan.
of Canaan.
With great
So they
stuff.
left Egypt and we went back into Canaan land.
Right.
See how that worked?
Right.
So the prophecy began in Canaan, left Canaan, went to Egypt, came back into Canaan, and it wasn't called Canaan no more. Because the iniquity of the Amorites became full. See how that works? We're going to get to the bottom. It's going to make some sense in a minute, you all. It takes some time to marinate for all these spices to hit all them taste buds in your spiritual tongue. Just let it soak in.